few minutes. Buck? So I'll show you where we're headed coming up in a few minutes. Buck and Alex, and I'll have that for you in a few minutes. Buck and Alec, we'll take a closer look at that weekend forecast coming up in a few minutes. Natalie? So I'll show you that coming up in a few minutes. Natalie?
We're going to take a look at tomorrow's record plus some low-end rain chances through the week ahead. Comes your way here in a few minutes. Kate?
I'll show you when to expect that coming up in a few minutes. Natalie, that's on the way. We'll talk more about that coming up in a few minutes. Natalie, coming up for you in just a few minutes. Natalie, coming up for you in a few minutes. Buck and Alec, coming up in a few minutes. Natalie, coming up in a few minutes. Natalie, we'll take a closer look at that part of your forecast coming up in a few minutes. Natalie, outline that for you in a few minutes. Natalie.
Coming up here in a little bit, we're going to talk about 80s back in the picture, though, by the time we get to the weekend. First, let's get a check of the roads this morning with Natalie. We're going to take a look at the rest of the spring break week coming up in a few minutes. But first, let's get a check of the roads this morning with Natalie McCann.
Coming up in a few minutes. Buck, I'll show you those numbers coming up in a few minutes. Natalie, I'll show you which day that is most likely to happen coming up in a few minutes. Natalie.
Going to talk more details about that and when we get back into the 80s here in a few minutes. Caitlin.
Are most likely to bring us some of that needed rain coming up in a few minutes. Alex and Caitlin, we'll talk more about that coming up in a few minutes. Buck and weekend forecast, we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. Buck and coming up in a few minutes. Buck and out coming up in a few minutes. Natalie coming up in a few minutes. Natalie out of that coming up in a few minutes. Natalie. That coming up in a few minutes. Buck and Alec, we'll do all of that in your 7-day forecast in just a few minutes. Natalie.
That's coming up throughout the hour.
And that's coming up for you in a few minutes. Natalie, we'll talk more about that coming up in a few minutes. Natalie's coming up in a few minutes. Natalie.
All right, guys, thank you so much. More areas getting snow now. All right, Joanne, thank you so much.
Know how to keep you guys busy. Thank you, Joanne.
Joanne, thanks so much. All right, Joanne, thanks so much. Before we leave you here.
Okay, Jonathan, we will check back with you very soon. We appreciate you watching our entire area for us. Wow. Okay, Jonathan, we appreciate that. We do.
All right, Jonathan, we'll check back in with you. Thanks.
Wow. Okay, Jonathan, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. We've seen planes coming in and out, so it looks like things are running there. Okay, Jonathan, thanks. All right, Jonathan, thanks. And we want to thank you for streaming with.
All right, Jonathan, thank you so much. Let's go ahead. We got a team of reporters.
Well, you guys are going to stay on top of it and keep everyone updated throughout the storm and through the next one,
Thanks,
possibly.
Yeah. Thanks, Jonathan. Wink, wink.
We'll bring that to you here in just a minute.
We're normally like in the 50s this time of year, right, David?
Average high is 55, so yeah.
Certainly, Mother Nature is not loving us this winter.
Oh, my goodness, what a difference. All right, David, thanks so much.
Well, temperature trends on into the new week. All that's coming your way in a few minutes.
David, thank you so much.
We'll have more on road conditions coming up in just a bit.
When the snow continues to roll on out, and how cold it's going to be in the morning, it's coming your way in a few minutes.
All right, we'll see you soon, David. Thanks.
Talk about temperatures into the rest of the weekend and next week. That's coming your way in a few minutes. Talk about the temperature trend when we can finally see some 50s on the board. That's coming your way in just a minute. That's coming your way in a minute. And your way with Jonathan Stacy in just a few minutes.
All right, we'll be curious to see how much we got. David, thanks.